I want to talk about Psalms 91, as it serves as a powerful reminder of the peace and security found in dwelling under God's protection. If you have not subscribed yet, please do and drop a like. It helps spread the word greatly. Thank you. Psalms 91 verses 1 through 2:1. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. 2. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. The psalm opens by proclaiming that those who dwell in the shelter of the Most High are under God's protection. The imagery of God as a refuge and fortress assures believers of His steadfast safety and presence, emphasizing that placing trust in God brings a sense of security beyond human comprehension. In verse 3 it says, "Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence." The psalmist speaks of God delivering His people from the fowler's snare and deadly pestilence. These metaphors for hidden dangers represent unseen threats or spiritual snares that believers may face, underscoring God's ability to protect from both seen and unseen perils. Verse 4, protection through God's wings. The psalm uses the image of God covering His followers with His feathers, likening Him to a mother bird sheltering her young. This verse highlights the tenderness and security of God's care, reminding believers that His protection is as intimate as it is powerful. Verses 5 to 6 talks about freedom from fear. These verses promise freedom from fear of the terror of night, the arrow that flies by day, and other dangers. By walking in faith, the psalmist encourages believers not to be anxious about life's perils, whether physical, spiritual, or psychological, affirming that God's watchful presence is constant. Verses 7 to 8. Witnessing divine justice. The psalm speaks of witnessing the downfall of the wicked while remaining unharmed. This conveys the message that God will protect His followers even when destruction surrounds them, offering reassurance that His people are not subject to the same fate as the unrighteous. Verses 9 to 12 guarantees promise of angelic protection. The psalmist writes that God commands His angels to guard believers in all their ways. This powerful assurance of angelic assistance conveys that God enlists His heavenly hosts to protect and guide His people, preventing even minor harm as a testament to His care. In verse 13, the psalmist declares that believers will tread upon lions and cobras, symbolic of overcoming powerful and cunning adversaries. This suggests that with God's support, His people have the strength to triumph over formidable challenges or enemies, reinforcing their security in Him. God's personal promises are in the final chapters. Here, God Himself speaks, promising deliverance and honor to those who love Him. This section is profoundly intimate, showing that God's commitment to His people is based on love and relationship. He vows to be with them in trouble, highlighting His personal involvement in their lives. Long life and salvation is the conclusion of chapter 16. The psalm concludes with God's promise of long life and the fullness of His salvation. This final blessing encompasses both temporal and eternal aspects, ensuring not only a fulfilling life on earth, but the ultimate reward of eternal fellowship with God, which is the ultimate expression of His protection. Overall assurance and faith. Psalms 91 presents a powerful theme of unwavering trust in God's protection and care. Through its vivid metaphors and promises, the psalm encourages believers to remain steadfast in their faith, assuring them that God's protection is not passive but active and deeply involved. In essence, it's a call to trust that God is both able and willing to protect His people through all adversities, both seen and unseen.